Okay, now that you know the basic user interface of Maya, and then you know how to the basic of animation inside Maya, right? Okay, so the next this part we will cover about the mesh. Now let's get into the mesh lesson here. Okay, so first before that, again, I want to set my frames. So just go back to make it to 100, and then here change to 25, and make sure its playback speed is 25 times 1. All right, now we can keep on rolling. Okay, so let's bring in the a board here. So this was from the previous. Okay, so how does a mesh work? So mesh, as I already explained in the class, that mesh is basically is a procedural kind of animation that you can create abstract animation for like 3D motion graphics. Okay, so mesh, how it works is it requires a mesh network. Okay, meshed network. So pardon my writing here. So mesh network, and inside the mesh network you can have a lot of like mesh node. Okay, all these nodes, so you can have a lot of different type of nodes. So across this course you will learn many nodes, okay, that belongs to mesh network. And mesh network is basically this is just one mesh network. You can have multiple of this. Okay, you can create multiple of mesh network. Just put that MN mesh network. Let's say this is mesh network 1. You can have mesh network 2 with all the nodes. Okay, so you can have a lot and combine it as one whole animation. Okay, right? So that's basically how it works. Now let's get into it. Okay, first you need to create an original object. So go to polymodeling, and let's say we create a cube. Okay, so in the cube here, remember this is the original object, and then we are going to go to our mesh tab. Okay, so there's a shelf here, there's mesh here. Okay, this is the easiest way to get into the mesh network and the nodes. Now you need to you in the shelf here you will see the two most important thing, which is the mesh network and the mesh editor. All right, so when first you need to click the original model, and we're going to create an instances of this based on the mesh network. So select the model, then select the create the mesh network here button. So what happened here, suddenly it replicates, and now we have like 10 of the cube. But if you look at the outliner here, this is the original, which is now grayed out, which means it's hidden. It's actually hidden from us. So what we are seeing here, this is basically the instances, a copy, the copies of the original that is belong to meshed. So the original is still there, it's just hidden. Okay, now to see the structure further, you can click the mesh network, and then you will see mesh 1 distribute. So this is the name. You can rename it if you want. So let's say mesh 1. Remember, Maya doesn't take space bar. You have to replace with an underscore. Mesh network cube. Let's see like that. So you see the name now, mesh network cube. So you can rename your mesh network to different names. You know, so it depends on what the use of the effects. Okay, so normally if you want to tweak further, you can't do much here in the channel box. You have to go to the attribute editor. So it's a more thicker panel here, more bigger, thicker panel. Yeah, and it has this sub tab here. So you got the mesh cube. This is also something that you can add. These are all the nodes. You can add nodes from here, from this mesh cube here. And then the mesh distribute, which I will touch after this. And this is the mesh repro, the reproduction. Okay. So you want to focus, you don't want to focus in here. Just use the editor will be fine. Just focus on the mesh distribute and the mesh repo. Okay. Repro. All right. Of course, if you don't select anything, it won't show up. So you have to select the mesh network. Okay. So let me explain a little bit on the mesh repro. So you see the name pcube1, which is same as the original pcube1. So basically now the object that is in the list to replicate is this object. So you can actually put more object in the list, but that one we will talk in another additional bonus class. Okay, for now, just wait. I think, yeah, we will cover it in this lesson here actually, but somewhere towards the end. Okay, so yeah, just know that this object pcube1 is in the list of the mesh network, which you can see over here in the mesh repro. But what we want to focus is in the distribute. Now you can click here, or let's say if you're from here, you can click the mesh distribute in the editor. It will snap back to the distribute. Okay, so this control the distribution of the instances. All right, and then you see 10 copies, number of points 10. So which means this is the 10 copies. So if you want more, you can slide it. See, now I got more. Now if you notice that the more I slide, the more I add, it doesn't make the length longer. The length is still the same, but it's just spacing is getting more tighter and tighter. You know, like point spacing. Okay, so it's getting tighter and tighter like this. I want to turn on this one so that you can see the wireframe here. Okay, right. Now, okay, why it doesn't grow longer? Because right now we are setting the distance x to 20. If I adjust the distance x, see now I can make it grow longer, and then I can adjust the amount I want and stuff like that. See? All right. So you can adjust it over here. And right now we are using the distribution type linear. So there are other things here which I will go through, not all of it, but the most important one here, like linear, radial, spherical, mesh, grid. The rest all is more advanced, so we don't touch it. We just, for beginner, we just touch until here, mesh and grid. So let's start with the linear first. So linear, this is what you can do. Okay, you can do this. You can lower the instances. You can adjust the distance y. You can go up and down. If you want to go negative, you can put the value itself. Okay, now you got a negative slider value. So all this can be animated actually. So, but let me just show you a bit more what you can do here. So you can offset it. You can rotate. Okay, you can do this. Rotate on Y. You can rotate on the Z. you can scale on the X, Y, and Z. All right, something like that. So this all can be animated, which I'll show you later. All right, seed obviously doesn't do anything. Offset, you can have it like animated it to move like this. Okay, let's go and see the ramp. So ramp biasness, you can adjust, just adjust the graph here. It will show you the distribution of the transformation that you have done up here. Rotation, this is regarding bias, and then this is regarding rotation, but we did not do any rotation, so it doesn't apply. Scale, you will see, because I applied scale, see the scale is affected. All right, nothing much in the advanced and the extra attributes, so just close it. All right, so how to kind of make sense and animate this? So I show you some example here. Okay, so let's say, okay, the total is 20, and at frame 10, I want everything here, or maybe, yeah, why not just put it on the Y, and I just want to put everything to 0 here. Just start from here. Let's say everything is like the cube here. So to put a keyframe here, you don't hit the S key like normal, because it doesn't work like that. So you want to put the value at only the things that you want. So select, I mean, you can select the distribute here, and then let's say you must right click the value here, choose set key. Okay, set key, you see now it's in red color, but you don't see the keyframe highlighted here, but just pay attention to what is red, what is not, and all in here, the value here. So at first it was like this, frame 10, and then frame 30 it goes to something like this. Okay, I have a ramp here. I think I want to reset the ramp, just remove the ramp. If you can't click that X, just, yeah, it's a bit, click this one, it will bring a bigger one, so you can easily remove those things. Yeah. Okay. So now it's spaced out evenly. So now I have the animation going from 10 to like this, right? And I want the scale Y to start growing from here. So just right click here, set key, and then maybe at 40 it will go like that. Okay, so now we have this kind of animation. All right, something like that. Okay, what if you decide to delete the keyframe that you don't need? For example, here at frame 40, I don't want this animation. I can right click at it and then click break connection. Okay, once I do that, all this animation here is gone. So all I have is the one that I didn't break connection. Okay, so like that. That's one way of doing deleting a keyframe that you don't see in the timeline. But yeah, I wanted this animation going on. Right, so just set key here. All right. Okay. Okay, so how do we animate? I mean, like, how do we shift the keyframe easier? Because right now we can't see it in the timeline. So one way to do that is you need to select your distribute here, right? And then you go to Windows. You have to use another editor. Go to Windows, Animation Editors. Make sure you are, yeah, Windows should be fine here. This is general. So Windows, Animation Editors. You can try the Dope Sheet, right? So Dope Sheets, you will find it maybe something like this. It's hidden from you. You have to expand the properties here. Of course, if you don't select, you don't see anything here. So the moment you select the here, you will see open selection. It disappear. This one, yeah, smashed. Open this, and you should see the distance, right? Remember the distant x scale y. See, distant x scale y. Okay, so it's stated there. You can adjust to your liking here. And these are the keyframes basically. All right. So for example, this is the playhead. You can scrub it here. And let's say I don't want to pause here. I want the scale to be moved earlier. So I can select these two and then use the move tool. And then I can just drag it here. So it starts earlier. Let's drag everything here. See, now it's faster. So that's basically how you can adjust, okay, the keyframes that you animate here just now. All right, but it only shows the one that have keyframe. Let's say if this scale, this rotation, I animate this, right? Let's say if I animate this at maybe here, rotation, what is that? Y. Let's try Z. Okay, so right click, set key. So now it added the rotate Z here, the rotate Z. And then I'll adjust this. See, I have the keyframe appear here. All right, I can do some random things. So here you will go to a negative value. Okay, can adjust the keyframes. All right, so you get the idea. That's how you basically animate the mesh properties here. Okay, using the Dope Sheet editor. All right, so basically, yeah, I'm gonna start a new one again. It's gonna delete the mesh node, so everything disappear. I'm gonna select the P cube here. If you want to unhide the original, select and then hold, click Shift H to unhide the original model. Okay, now I'm going to apply the. You can also do it here. Create mesh network. See, I'm starting back at the beginning because I want to go through the distribute here. All right, so distribute, this is what it does for linear. So let's check out the other things. Okay, let's say I want a radial. So radial will be something like this. You can explore this on your own, like radius. So you can control the radius. Maybe it started from cube, boom, then it expanded to something like this. Okay, and then you can even adjust the angle. Maybe it started from the top Shoo, that's suddenly like that. Maybe you want to do like a clock or something. You want to do anti-clockwise, of course you go the other way around. Okay. Z offset, if you want to do spiral, let's try something. If I put more, I can offset it. I can put more here, like 600. See, now I got more spiral shapes. It goes like this. That's, yeah, you can create crazy animation like this, right? Like cool animation. You can even animate the value, the amount, suddenly it increases. Yep. You can also adjust the radial axis. So it's from here, the X, so a different direction. Okay. All right. C, nothing much here. Bias. I don't see this bias that you can do here. Rotation. There's no rotation that we are applying. Just the value here. Radius and angle. So you won't see much here. Okay. Yeah. So that is basically radial. Okay, in a more radial way. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Spherical. Obviously, it will shape and fill in like a sphere. So I need to put more, like 200. You will see more spherical shapes. Then you can adjust. You see, it becomes spherical. You can do animation like this, become like that. You can adjust the radius, explosion, right? Animation speed. You can adjust your animation time. You can put keyframe here and start animating. All right. Yeah. So nothing much, just around this, play with this area. And then you have the mesh. Mesh I will show later, but I'll show grid first. Okay. So grid, you can align all them in a grid. So right now this is 5 by 5 points, units in terms of the distance. But if you, let's say I put 10 by 10, is going to be wider. But I can also, I can also add like 3 by 3 by 3. If I put 3 here, now I got it not just flat like that. I can have heights, because Y is up and down, right? Is height. So yeah, I can add more across here if I want to. Yep, something like that. So let's say I want this to be 10 by 10. Now I have a cube that fills in. If I want to close the gap, maybe I can put 11 by 11. Now it's a closed gap. All right. So that's how cool this thing is. Can adjust it like that as well. It's all a matter of the arrangement. So it can be like this, and then suddenly like multiple layer comes out, and they are spreading. Yeah, you can do this kind of animation. All right. So that is grid. And then we have the meshed. Let's go back to linear. Let's reset all the values. 20. I just want to put it a bit less. 10. Okay. So let's go to meshed. Mesh is basically you need other 3D models so that the instances will grow at the surface of that 3D model. So for example, I'm going to make go to poly modeling. I'm going to add a cylinder. All right, so a cylinder. maybe it's bigger, and I want, okay, maybe not cylinder, let's do a sphere. Now I want basically in the mesh distribute, choose a meshed, and then I need to select please connect a mesh. So if you look at the property on the mesh here, there's input mesh. So I need to add this model in the list here. So how to do that is, once you see everything here, or you can just right click here. No, that won't do. You must select, okay, let's select the distribute. And then in the, what calls the outliner, you can click and hold your middle mouse button, which is your scroller. Click and hold the sphere one, drag and drop to this. See the plus, the arrow with the plus there? Drop it there. There you go. You see now all of that distribute goes on the surface of the sphere here. So if I can, it has a different mode, like a per vertex, face center, on the edge, along the edge, UV space. I can put more so that it will populate on top of the surface. But usually a scatter is quite famous to use. You can adjust push along normals, how far you want to be. If you want to make it go a little bit more inside, you put the negative value. Okay, so then you can adjust how far it is attached to the mesh. Right? And let's see what else. Phase edge settings. Probably usually nothing much here. So this just main of the purpose is to just scatter it on the surface. All right. So if you want to do more, you can combine other nodes to get it to work. All right. Okay. So that is the meshed. So if I move the sphere, it will follow. All right. Let me change it back to not mesh, but a linear. Put it back to 10. Delete the sphere now. Now, if you want to like move it around, see what happens if I try to move it. See, it doesn't move, right? This is because to move this, you cannot move like a normal object. See, if I select the mesh, there's no move here. Mesh repro, you can't move it like that. There's another way to move it, which we'll cover later. Okay. So just one small exercise before we finish the class. Still in the distribute topic. Okay, I'm gonna delete. Okay, yeah, another thing, I just want to unhide the original. Okay, this is the original. Now, watch what happens if I adjust the shape. See the original? Because it's the original, the instances will follow the original. You see? So you can adjust it this way as well. So this one, I'm just going to hide it. Control H to hide. So now you have something like this. Okay, now let's start over and do a simple exercise. All right, so I'm going to delete the mesh again, start from scratch. Not going to do cube. Let's do some sort of like a DNA strand by using what we have learned today. So what I need is 2 spheres, hold shift and drag to clone, right? And add a cylinder in the middle, scale smaller. We want to rotate this on the 90 degrees. So you want to go to the Z negative 90. Then I'm just going to make the scale longer. So it's connect together. All right, so this is the piece. I'm going to put it right in the center here, and I'm going to combine and go to mesh, combine. You can only see the mesh here if you are in the modeling menu sets. Just combine, and then you want to delete the history as well. See, all this residue is created here. You cannot just select in the list and delete, because the original one that is connected via the history here is still, I mean, it's still connected, so you can't just delete like that. So you have to do a cleanup on the model before you do your next process. So you have to go select this and then go to edit, delete by type, history. Delete the history on the input here. Okay, so this is the channel box. All right, now we can start to do something here. So select the DNA1 DNA strand here, and then we can add a mesh network. Okay, select the distribute. I'm just gonna, yeah, make it about a taller one, it's 20. Okay, but the distance is going to be 0, but I'm going to increase the distance y, something like that. And I can then twist it by going to the rotate y and start rotating it. If I want more, I can type in 400. So there you go. I have now created some sort of like a DNA strand shape by using this. And yeah, so all these things can be modified if you want to do animation. Okay, so if you want to do anything further than this, you have to combine with another type of nodes to make it spin around. So for now, basically just an exercise. This is how it works. Okay, you can do like DNA strand like this. Maybe you want to animate this. Set key. Sorry, not like that. Go ahead in time. Right, so you have some animation. Okay, so now you create some sort of a DNA animation strand. All right. Yeah, I did mention that I want to show something about the repro here before we finish our class. Let's delete the mesh again. So let's say I have two objects. I have a cube okay, these two here, and let's say I don't want the instance to be just one object. I want to have multiple. So for this one we only have two. Yeah, maybe let's add another one here, a sphere. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually select all of them and then create a mesh network. Okay, but as you can see, I only have the ball, the sphere here. But if I go to the repro, there are all these two objects, sphere and the cone and the cube. All right, it's already there. I can even right click and delete if I want to, if I don't want it to be in the list. So that's one of the good way of important things of this property here. And if I go back to distribute, so how do I get, if I put more, see, there's no instances of the other objects. See, all these original are hidden, but I don't see the cone and the cube. So to do that, you can pair with the second node, right? You need to tell the mesh network that by using this node to take into account of the other model that you you add in the repro here. So to do that, you can select add another node here, click. Remember, distribute is a compulsory node. It's the default node that will be created the moment you create the mesh network. Okay, now I'm going to add additional one. The first additional node here is called the ID, identification. So now at the moment I click select ID, I start to see all of this. Why? Because in the property of the mesh ID, now I have this ID count 3. So because I have 3 model in the repro, right? So if I put 2, I can only see these 2 shapes, these 2 objects. So if I put 3, I don't bother putting more than that because you only have 3, right? So just put 3. Okay, you can also do a random arrangement, cycle it, fixed, but yeah, just go with a linear if you want. Okay, so we can explore the other things about it. Strength, how much strength does the value up here impose? You can have a random one. All right, so basically that is the use of the mesh ID. Only use mesh ID if you have multiple instances. Okay, you want to show multiple instances. So let's say now if I change to grid, see, the arrangement is going to be something like that. Okay, so now I have this. Maybe I put 12 just to space it out even more. Okay, so that concludes our lesson for this video. We will learn more about the other nodes in the next following class. All right, bye.